And hello once again, fans from ringside. As always in the booth, the best damn pro wrestling commentator going, Arachnid Soul. Jam-packed action here tonight. Our main event will be a tag team match between Ivar, who will be teaming up with LA Knight to take on the global television champion Otis, and Otis's tag team partner Chad Gable. But right now we turn our focus back to the ring. There you see Cameron Grimes sitting out in the corner. Mustafa Ali, nice drop kick in that time. Ali back to his vertical base, sends his man off, short arm, and snaps off that Hudan Kanrana. The cruiserweight division, the junior heavyweight division as some people are calling it, the light heavyweight division as some people are calling it, really heating up in this organization. Nicely done, gourd buster there, but Grimes maybe makes a mistake, turns his back, and gets caught for his troubles with that drop kick. Once again into the corner, once again eats that Chris Sabin style hesitation drop kick against that bottom turnbuckle. Irish whip, full arm dragon twist, boot there from Grimes. Wanted the big boot, could not get it, and once again we see that Hurricane Rana. So nicely has this organization played out over the last couple of months. I mean, when you think about not only the junior heavyweights, but also the heavyweights, people like Ivar, people like Otis. Uppercut knee strike that time. Both men come back in, shoulder block, drop kick there, kind of paint brushed away that time. Hammerlock throw. Once again snaps off that Frankensteiner, does Mustafa Ali. Ali, a former Jersey All-Pro Wrestling light heavyweight champion, as we see that beautifully executed German suplex, no bridge, all impact. Here's a cover. Also competed for the Ian Rotten founded IWA Mid-South promotion. Once again, gourd buster, nicely done that time from Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes, look at these nasty knee strikes. Cameron Grimes, as we've mentioned before, a man who really cut his teeth in TNA Impact Wrestling. And just momentarily, while we talk about TNA, as we see this Bulldog out of the corner, TNA announcing earlier this week, the replays, those nasty knees I talked about, that they would actually be inducting Iron Mike Tenay, the Professor, into the Hall of Fame. I mean, a man that I look up to, a man who inspired me to want to call pro wrestling. Muay Thai style roundhouse kick and a cover here. No. So congrats to both Mike Tenay and also DW Don West, the late great Don West, possibly my favorite announce team of all time. Front face lock here, backhand knife edge chop. We'll talk more about that in October when the Professor actually goes in. Front face lock here, fisherman's hook, nope. There's the Aurora Borealis. Beautifully executed that time from the former Trevor Lee. Now wrestling as Cameron Grimes here in Pure Pro Wrestling. Cameron Grimes, a former three-time TNA X Division champion, a man trained by Matt and Jeff Hardy, a man taken under the tutelage of Sugar Shane Helms, aka the Hurricane. That North Carolina contingent, backhand knife edge chops, frying pan chop that time over the top. Little inverted alley-oop. Take a look at a replay here. This was going to be the Fisherman suplex, countered into that Northern Light suplex. And now Mustafa off the top. There's the fireball, shades of Hayabusa, 450 splash. And only got a 2 count. Mustafa Ali is one of these guys who's really trying to make a name for himself in this organization, as we see the flatliner into that Koji Kanemoto clutch. Really trying to make a name for himself in this organization, running through the junior heavyweights. Has been so-so on the house event tour in terms of wins and losses. Looking to score a big win here tonight over Cameron Grimes. I have to think it might even be an upset win. Front face lock here. Mustafa, nice little twist there on that suplex. Off the top. Came off like Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Hooks the leg. Referee in position. And yes, that will be it. Mustafa Ali gets the Duke here tonight on Pure Pro Wrestling Global Television. Let's go to the replays. Look at the hang time on this splash. And I would bet money that we will see these two lock horns sometime in the future.
Here is your winner, Mustafa Ali!
And probably sooner rather than later. Fans, we do it all the time. When we come to your hometown, you're going to want to get tickets. Here's how you can check us out live. And we are back live. We're actually going to give you a little preview of Fight Night in Brooklyn here. Solo Sikoa, who will be taking on Shelton at that event, but let's lay out for the ring announcer.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Madrid, Spain, weighing in at 154 pounds, Axiom!
Axiom's really been one of these guys on the roster who feels like he's been forgotten. I mean, we just talked about Mustafa Ali and Cameron Grimes and the kind of insurgence of the cruiserweights, the junior heavyweights in this organization. Axiom feels like his name does not come up enough in the conversation, and like many people, he would like to wear gold in this organization. We're going to see how things play out. He will be, as I've mentioned earlier, taking on Solo Sikoa in this one, and that's going to be no easy task. Solo Sikoa is one of these guys that has one speed. He goes full speed ahead. He's got that Samoan blood.
And his opponent from Las Vegas, Nevada, weighing in at 250 pounds, Solo Sikoa!
Solo Sikoa saying earlier today that he's more than happy to face Shelton Benjamin in a rematch in Brooklyn. We saw what happened. These two had an amazing match, to be quite honest with you. It could have gone either way. Solo Sikoa hit that Samoan spike, covered Shelton Benjamin 1-2, and we looked at the replay many times. There was a rope break there, but the referee's decisions are final in this organization, so we will stand by it. You're going to want to join us for our Supercard event coming up soon. It's Fight Night in Brooklyn. We're going to take you to that bumper here, and then we're going to be back with live action. And we are back. The opening bell sounds. Axiom giving up about 95 pounds here as he eats that lariat. Axiom coming in at 154 pounds. Solo Sikoa coming in tonight at just under 250 pounds. Nicely done. Once again, short arm lariat. Solo Sikoa is a guy who, really going back to that very first event we had, he had that knockdown brawl with Ivar, and actually feels that he should be the #1 contender for the championship. We've talked a lot about how Ivar will be getting his shot. at the champion Otis next week for that Global Television Championship. Here's a moonsault press and a cover, nicely done by Axiom, and a kick out at 1 by Solo Sikoa. We also have to think about the fact that LA Knight feels that he should be the #1 contender. Diving divorce court there into the Fujiwara armbar. Really cinched it up and keyed that lock. I mean, beautifully executed. The technical wrestling from the Spaniard Axiom. Here comes Solo Sikoa, face mask style bulldog. And now using the knee. Just into the forehead that time. Solo Sikoa now. Gonna work over the whole body, going to the legs. Kicked off that time. Axiom back to his vertical base. Hits the ropes, puts the brakes on, came back in. The timing wasn't there and got drilled in the sternum with a headbutt. Solo hits the ropes now. Look for a headbutt of his own. And there's that Yoshihiro Tajiri style buzzsaw kick. That might be it. No. So much going on surrounding that television championship. I mean, you've got 3 men in Solo Sikoa, Ivar, and LA Knight who feel they should be the champion. Once again, here tonight, Solo hits the ropes. It was actually a diving knee that time, I think the knee brace. Thought he was looking for a headbutt earlier, he was not. Short arm lariat. The 3rd or 4th time in this encounter that Solo Sikoa has scored with the lariat. They have been working out for him. Solo Sikoa, part of that bloodline. We think about his father Rikishi. We think about Yokozuna, inside cradle. It's a long 2 count by the referee and a kick out by Solo Sikoa. At the same time, there has been talk of, possibly a cruiserweight championship coming down the pike soon. Rumors, innuendo, no one's really quite sure. But Axiom would love a win here tonight. And I got to think also, if Axiom gets a win here tonight, he should also fight on that Fight Night in Brooklyn event. You can tell we've changed the ring apron a little bit for you for this special showcase match. The lighting on the fans as we see that spin wheel kick, shades of the late, great Owen Hart. Maybe also been watching some of those Savio Vega tapes. Switched up the look of the arena just a little bit for you. Solo Sikoa with those nasty blows. Trained in Vegas out there with all those MMA fighters and FSW and all the UFC fighters. Take a look at a replay here. We talked about this earlier, the divorce court, which was that modified single arm DDT into this hold, the Fujiwara armbar. Hold that broke a lot of arms in Japan over the past 40 years. Fireman's carry here. And then there's that trademark Samoan drop. Solo Sikoa's beat a lot of people with that. Decides to not go for the cover. Picks Axiom back up. Boot. Sets and stuffs his man. Takes him for the ride. What a nasty powerbomb that was. Yeah, that man's out. Hooks the leg. Referee in position. That will be it. And yes, Solo Sikoa gets the win here tonight in Richmond, Virginia. Solo has that momentum going into that match against Shelton Benjamin. Fight Night in Brooklyn is going to be amazing. Fight Night in Brooklyn is going to be can't miss.
Here is your winner, Solo Sikoa.
And ladies and gentlemen, you're going to want to stay with us. Coming up next, it is the first ever tag team match that we've ever had in the history of this organization. We hope you've been enjoying the broadcast, but once again, it's going to be Fight Night in Brooklyn.
The following contest is a tag team match set for one fall. Introducing first, from Hagerstown, Maryland, weighing in at 230 pounds, LA Knight,
LA Knight won a best-of-3 series against Carmelo Hayes to become the #1 contender for Otis's Global Television Championship. At the same time, Ivar, through other means, also became the #1 contender. LA Knight still has not received his shot at the championship. LA Knight, here tonight in tag team action, will look to pin either the champion or the champion's tag team partner, Chad Gable. In any case, I have to think after next week's main event title match between Ivar and Otis that LA Knight will be the man and the new #1 contender. Of course, then there's this man.
And his partner from Valhalla, weighing in at 305 pounds, Ivar!
Ivar, a 305-pound athlete, a brute, but a man who can move like Samoa Joe. A smash-mouth fighter, but a guy who's also very technically sound, a man who can take to the air, a man who's been on a win streak here, only losing the very first night of this company. No one has pinned him since. The man who pinned him that night was Solo Sikoa. And the fans, as I always say, absolutely love this guy. Ivar, who was primarily a tag team wrestler for years, becoming a singles wrestler here in PPW Pure Pro Wrestling to chase singles gold. We can talk about the champion. We can also talk about the champion's tag team partner. Here they come.
And at a combined weight of 532 pounds, Chad Gable and Otis, the Alpha Academy.
And there you see Chad Gable. There you see Otis walking down the aisle. Chad Gable there on the right, Otis on the left, wearing that championship gold. Otis has been the most dominant fighter in terms of title matches, in terms of main events, in terms of big matches in the history of this organization. A man who does not back down from his obligation. He takes a couple of shortcuts here and there. The fans don't like him, but when it's go time, this man can go. We're going to see how this thing plays out. It will be your main event here tonight. I'm sure the late, great Terry Funk is watching on. Otis and Chad Gable, the Alpha Academy, making their debut here tonight. You hear that opening bell. Chad Gable will start out with Ivar. Backhand knife edge chop, boot, and a flip over neck breaker. Once again, fans, we thank you for joining us here on Pure Pro Wrestling Global Television. Saturdays at noon is when this broadcast takes place. We'd appreciate it if you spread the word. Chad Gable, so full of himself, so conceited. And we see Ivar out there convalescing. LA Knight drops down. Going to go check on his tag team partner. It's going to be interesting also as we see the Flying Milmascara style cross chop from Ivar. Going to be interesting to see how LA Knight and Ivar can work together as a tag team. As far as my research goes, this is the first time that these two men have ever tagged up. Lariat in the corner, Bulldog out but shoved off. Otis directing traffic there. Flying capo kick from Chad Gable, but no water in the pool. There's a boot, collar and elbow. Boot once again. And that flip over neck breaker was so nice that that man just did it twice. Going up to the second rope there, thought better of it, gets caught with that Osoto Gary style lariat. The STO, some people might call it. Irish whip to the friendly corner. Well, friendly if you're Ivar, not so friendly if you're Chad Gable. In comes LA Knight, knee. And a nice lariat that time, Northern lariat. Dragon screw leg whip. Chad Gable gonna fight the world. And we do see a tag, and now for the first time, here comes the champion. Here comes the Pure Pro Wrestling Global Television Champion, Otis. Another Smash Mouth wrestler. You're looking at Eli Drake, some people call him. LA Knight, some people call him. A man who thought that by this point he'd already be a champion in this organization. Won the best of 3, as I mentioned earlier, has gone on a win streak, both on television as well as at the untelevised live events. The fans have really taken a shine to him. One of the more popular athletes in this organization. High crotch that time, sits out, Tony DeVito style Bronx bomb. Nicely done by Otis. Bear hug, wanted the overhead belly-to-belly suplex, couldn't get it. Side arm drag. Nicely done once again, neck breaker, bothly done by LA Knight. LA now throws Otis back into his corner. There was the tag there. Ivar comes in as the legal man. Double team Irish whip. Double team back body drop. Cover here. Referee in position. Ivar on top. Only got a 1 count. Otis able to kick out that time. And LA Knight actually taking a couple of shots on the way out. LA Knight will have 5 seconds to leave the ring. As we always talk about, this is a company with rules. This is a company where not only do we keep the playing field level, we have clean matches, no one interferes, managers don't interfere. We usually don't have managers out here. But also in the tag team matches, each team's only allowed 1 breakup of a pinfall or a submission. The second one results in an automatic disqualification. Ivar back to the arena floor. LA Knight once again checking on his man. Ivar snaps the neck of Chad Gable down across that top cable. This is what we talked about. Ivar can fly. Somersault senton. Bipasso though from Chad Gable. Ivar not sure where he is right now. Chad Gable, rear gut wrench, rolls through. Looked like Ivar tried to sit out that time. Chad Gable actually gave up on it. Chad Gable, the more accomplished of the amateur wrestlers. I mean, when we talk about Chad Gable's credentials, a Greco-Roman wrestler, competed in the Olympic wrestling trials, has been very successful as an amateur. Double team move her Alpha Academy, Manhattan drop, and a big boot that time. Taz used to call that his Brooklyn boot. And the Harley Race style short diving headbutt, and the Dusty Rhodes style bionic elbow, if you will, from the champion Otis. Sends his man for the ride to the corner. Ivar out of the corner. Ivar came in, maybe looking for a boot or a stomp or something. The brakes were put in. Somersaults through the drop kick. And the champion comes out on top once again. And what you're looking at right here are the 2 biggest individuals in the history of this organization. I mean, we're looking at 2 guys over the 300-pound mark, 2 super heavyweights. This will be your main event for next week. Take a look at a replay here. Alpha Academy. Inverted atomic drop. And that big boot. Ivar at some point might want to think about tagging out. Feels that he's still fresh. Short headbutt once again, the Mamaskra style chop. Ivar picks his man Otis back up. Shades of Yoshihiro Takayama with those knees. Diving splash, referee in position. Now that's not going to count as Chad Gable's 1 breakup that his team gets in this match because there was no contact made. The champion Otis, big enough, tough enough to kick out on his own. Almost looked like Ivar was going to tag out that time to LA Knight, decided not to. Oh, this is a great tag team play here. We wondered if LA Knight and Ivar were going to be able to work together. Double leg here. Not sure the referee saw it. LA Knight was in the way. Sunset flip, referee still down. 2 and some change that time. And Ivar now rolls to the outside. And this is the kind of situation that happens in a tag team match. You take a little bit of a break. LA Knight's out there to check on his man. They're going to talk strategy. Chad Gable, he can fly and will fly cross body. Completely missed. Not only no water in the pool, the family didn't own a pool. Take a look at a replay here. Uppercut knee strike from LA Knight, and then the Northern Lariat from Ivar. Back to live action here. Ivar legal, Chad Gable legal. Both legal men in the ring. Irish whip that time. Ivar, deep rotation, nice power slam. Referee drops down, no one to make a save there, except Chad Gable, who saves himself. Back body drop we saw from LA Knight and Ivar on Otis earlier. Only got a 1 count on the champion. And this 2-on-2 match continues. LA Knight, hard haymaker that time, blocked. Inside out German from Chad Gable. And we've seen LA Knight week after week. We've seen Ivar and Otis week after week. We've seen Chad Gable very briefly. Nicely done, the flying head scissors that time with the delay. Almost remind me of Hector Guerrero, the way that he snapped that one off. And once again, that inside-out German, shades of Kurt Angle. And when you talk about Chad Gable, you've got to talk about Kurt Angle as well, because Chad Gable has modeled himself to some degree off of Kurt Angle. Nice knee drop that time from LA Knight. Chad Gable likes to use things like the inside-out German we've seen, also the ankle lock that people like Kurt Angle and Ken Shamrock made famous in this great sport. LA Knight shot off into enemy territory. No tag there. T-bone suplex onto that bottom turnbuckle. Otis saying he wants a tag here and gets one. Otis looking on at LA Knight and says he wants to come in, pick up the scraps. Otis takes a shot that time on Ivar. Sends the 305-pound Ivar out to the arena floor and then covers LA Knight. Ivar was going to come in to make a save. I'm not sure he would have made it in time. Was on the arena floor when that bit of offense started to take place. Otis now sits his man on the Falcon's nest. LA Knight sent for the ride. Modified iconoclasm, just military pressed off the top. LA Knight did get a tag there. Ivar went for that crossbody again, could not quite get it. It's almost like, you know, basketball. All the shots don't go in. Chad Gable brought in the hard way. LA Knight looked like he wanted to come off the top. Thought better of it, cover here. Stacks his man, once again, sunset flip from Otis. And it was a very slow count that time. I think there might have been some contact made between Ivar and the referee when Ivar went for that Mil Mascara-style cross chop. Look at this. Otis being manhandled as if he were a cruiserweight here. Ivar loves to use this. It's the small of the back. It's that surfboard stretch. And looked like Ivar actually released his man from the hold, wants to do a little bit more damage, backs up, surveys the damage, comes in, lariat in, bulldog out. He looked for that combo earlier on Chad Gable, couldn't get it, lateral press, hooked the outside leg that time, was looking for 3. Otis sent for the ride, short arm shoulder block, nice misdirection play there. I have to say, I'm pretty impressed by the tag team work here on both sides. I expected it from Alpha Academy. I actually did not expect that Ivar and LA Knight sit out riding bomb, cover, and a lariat from LA Knight on the outside as we saw the kick out from Otis on the inside. Drops the leg, does Ivar. I did not expect that Ivar and LA Knight would work this well together. Ivar off the top, went to drop the leg, could not get it. Diving headbutt to the small of the back from Otis. Otis now these heavy shots, and look at this, just pops him up. Over 300 pounds, just throw him straight up in the air. Ivar sent to the corner. Ivar's gonna have to fight the world there. Went for another cross chop, got countered into a DDT that time. Irish whip, Ivar. Still gonna fight out. Otis looking for the double team tag team move, could not get it. And Otis gonna stay with it until he does. Sets his man on the top, and now throws that 305-pounder off the top. Otis gonna fly here, diving splash. He's beat a lot of men with that. Ivar at 305 gonna fly. Elbow. Capo kick did not connect. Ivar, for the third time tonight, double legs his man into the pinning combination, and once again unable to get the 3 count. Ivar and Chad Gable, your legal men. Second time tonight with that sit-out spine buster, the Rydeen bomb. Ivar picks his man back up, boot, double underhook, sits out, Tiger Driver, shades of Mitsuharu Misawa, cover. Shades of Sayama as well. All the great Tiger masks over the years. Ivar perches his man up top. Gonna go up top with him. It's a big man to go to the top rope. Superplex, no. Chad Gable fights out of it. And there's LA Knight with the assist. That Roppongi Gamengiri cover here. And it looked like Otis came in. I don't know if there was a kick out there or if there was a save there. I think the referee will count that as the one save for that team. Of course, I could be wrong. Osoto Gary, referee in position. Chad Gable tops Ivar. Once again, not getting a 3 count. Nasty powerbomb outside the ring. And LA Knight gets right back up the fighting spirit. Schoolboy here. Otis outside the ring. Wait a minute. And that is it. LA Knight and Ivar get the win here tonight on global television. Let's take a look at some replays. This was the Schoolboy. Everybody had their back turned. Otis couldn't believe that LA Knight was up after that powerbomb.
Here are your winners, Ivar and
LA Knight will be the #1 contender after next week, after Ivar gets his one-on-one shot against Otis for that Global Television Championship, the biggest match in the history of this organization. Fans, please do not miss it. Thank you, and good night.